Sometimes in sports, a routine play can turn into a terrifying moment in an instant. That's exactly what happened on Sunday night in the game between the San Diego Padres and the Houston Astros. A scary collision at first base sent Padres designated hitter Luis Arraez off the field on a stretcher and to a local hospital. However, amidst the initial fear, there is thankfully reassuring news regarding his condition. The incident occurred in the very first inning of the matchup at Daikin Park. Luis Arraez laid down a sacrifice bunt and was sprinting hard to first base. Astros second baseman Mauricio Dubón was also sprinting to cover first base on the play. As Arraez reached for the base and Dubón extended to receive the throw, the two players collided hard. Reports indicate Arraez appeared to hit Dubón's arm or elbow with his face during the impact. Both players immediately fell to the ground after the collision, while Dubón was able to jump back up quickly. The scene around Luis Arraez caused immediate alarm. He rolled straight over onto his left shoulder and remained down, completely motionless, for what felt like a long, terrifying time. Dubón and the Padres' first base coach were the first to reach him, checking on him while others from both dugouts quickly ran out to help. The concern on the field was palpable. Medical trainers from both teams, along with coaches and players, surrounded Arraez. The decision was made to place him onto a stretcher, as he was carefully placed on a backboard and then onto the stretcher. The tension in the stadium was immense. Players like Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado stood watching, clearly concerned, as he was being carted off the field down the right field line towards the ambulance. There was a moment of relief as Arraez was seen moving his limbs and gave a thumbs up. A small but significant signal that he was conscious and responsive despite the scary impact. Arraez was transported to a local hospital for further testing to assess the extent of his injuries. Thankfully, the initial reports from the team were reassuring. He was stable, conscious, responsive, and able to move his extremities. And in a huge wave of relief for everyone involved, he was released from the hospital soon after arriving. Padres manager Mike Shildt spoke after the game and described the situation as the best-case scenario with Luis. Given how scary the collision was, he acknowledged that it was, obviously, very scary. Shildt provided more details on the initial assessment, saying, "We think he's for the most part out of the woods. More time will tell, but the initial testing is very favorable. No fractures of any sort. I mean, he got a little bit of a laceration on his jawline. So we are worried about his jaw. We are worried about his cervical region. Everything was clear, stable on the initial testing." However, Shildt was understandably cautious despite the positive initial news. He mentioned that Arraez sustained a little bit of a laceration on his jawline, and that they were also concerned about his jaw and cervical region. He also revealed that Arraez had a brief period where he wasn't aware of where he was, which is clearly concerning. While initial testing for a concussion was favorable, Shildt emphasized, "Clearly, we are not out of the woods. All things considered, that's a blessing." It highlights that while the immediate, life-threatening danger seems to have passed, they will remain cautious and monitor him. Astros second baseman Mauricio Dubón also expressed his distress over the collision. "It was scary," Dubón said. "I mean, just watching him not move. It was scary." Dubón was clearly shaken by the incident and made a point to state, "Especially people know the type of player I am. I'm not a dirty player or anything. So it sucks. Worst part about it is you get death threats from stuff like this and everything. So it's going to be a fun ride home. It's an unfortunate reality that sometimes even accidental on-field incidents can lead to terrible online abuse directed at players." Fernando Tatis Jr. also spoke about the fear he felt seeing his teammate down. "It was a sad moment. Especially getting close to him and seeing him on the ground like that. You definitely get scared," Tatis said. "You almost go into tears but holding up. You sit down right next to him and start praying for him right away. Happy he is back with us already. Just happy he's standing up." He also mentioned hearing the collision from second base. After a delay of about 10 to 15 minutes, the game did resume. The Padres managed to pull out a 3-2 win, avoiding a series sweep against the Astros. Fernando Tatis Jr. provided the winning run with a solo home run in the 7th inning, contributing to the win after scoring in the first inning as well. Gavin Sheets, who replaced Arraez in the lineup, also had a key RBI. Luis Arraez did return to the Padres clubhouse after the game, a hugely positive sign. He is expected to stay in Houston overnight and hopefully rejoin the team on Monday for their series against the Detroit Tigers. Arraez, a talented hitter who led the NL in hits last season and holds a .287 average this year, is a key player for the Padres. While the collision was terrifying and a reminder of the dangers inherent in baseball, the news of his stable condition and quick release from the hospital is a significant relief and the best possible outcome from such a scary moment on the field. What do you think about this scary collision and the quick update on Luis Arraez's condition? Share your well wishes for both players in the comments below.
Imagine watching a routine bunt, and suddenly a collision so violent your heart skips a beat. That's what happened Sunday night in Houston when Padres designated hitter Luis Arraez barreled into Astros second baseman Mauricio Dubón at first base. The stadium fell silent as Arraez lay motionless, then erupted in relief when he gave a thumbs up being loaded onto a stretcher. Here's what went down. In the first inning at Minute Maid Park, Arraez sprinted down the line on a sacrifice bunt and never saw Dubón cutting across. They crashed chest first, and Dubón popped up shaken but alert. Arraez, however, rolled onto his shoulder and stayed down as coaches and trainers scrambled in. After a tense 15-minute delay, he was placed on a stretcher, conscious and able to wiggle his fingers and toes as he was carted off, proof that even scary moments can have silver linings. San Diego's staff confirmed he was stable and responsive, then rushed him to a local hospital for evaluation. In a relief wave of good news, the 28-year-old was released that night and even returned to the Padres clubhouse, reflecting the resilience that earned him last year's National League hit crown with 200 safeties and a sparkling .314 average. But the story didn't end there. Back on the field, the Padres rallied around their shaken teammate. Fernando Tatis Jr. delivered the first run thanks to an Astros error, then tied it 2-2 with a seventh-inning solo shot. Gavin Sheets, inserted in Arraez's spot, came through with an RBI single in the third. When the dust settled, San Diego walked off with a 3-2 win, avoiding a series sweep and improving to 16-6. Why this matters. Beyond the box score, this collision highlights how quickly the game can turn from competition to concern, and how teammates and fans rally when one of their own is in jeopardy. Arraez isn't just a bat-to-ball master, he's a clubhouse leader whose toughness lifts an offense that's batting .287 with 7 RBIs and 3 homers before Sunday's scare. Looking ahead, the Padres wrap up their road trip in Detroit, but everyone will be watching Arraez's next steps. Will he rejoin the lineup Monday, continuing his streak of reliability after being traded from Miami last May? And can San Diego keep using small ball, power, and pitching to stay atop the NL West? If you're relieved by Arraez's turnaround and eager to see how he and the Padres respond, hit like, drop a "Get Well Soon, Luis" in the comments, and subscribe for real-time update. Because in baseball, every scar carries a story, and every comeback starts with a single step back onto the field.